Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I believe this is episode 150 of the Emergency Storage Shed Cleanout series. An episode a week, 150 weeks. We're going strong. We've got something exciting to get out today, particularly if you're interested in vintage hi-fi. We've only seen the back of it. It's a Sansui. It's got wood grain sides. I know I have a few mates that collect these things. They might fight over this one, or I might keep it for myself. Let's go and have a look how far we've got and have a look at this particular item. Get it on the bench. We'll probably power it up and see what happens, and we'll see what's going to come up in the next few weeks. Let's go for a stroll down to the middle of the emergency storage shed. We've come a long way, and I like to emphasize this because it just shows that doing something small but regularly can achieve great things. Now, yes, it's been nearly 3 years, but you should have seen. Go back to episode 1 and have a look at how full this shed was. There we go. It's the back of a Sansui amplifier, possibly a tuner as well. I know it's an amp because it's got speaker outlets, it's got inputs for all sorts of other things. Wood grain case. I'm thinking late 60s. I can't even see a model number yet, so I'll take a photo of the tag. I can see the tag, but I can't read it from here. Let's get it through to the bench. Hopefully it's in good condition on the front. It'll look really retro, I'm sure. These things are great. I have a soft spot for vintage hi-fi. So let's get it through and have a look at it. We'll check out perhaps some online resources to see exactly what age it is, and then we'll look at powering it up. Okay, here we go. I haven't had a good look at the front yet. You guys will get a better look than me. Oh, I can see it in the camera. It's a cool looking item. Now, yes, I would have seen it before, but it's been so long. I've been buying things for over 20 years and just stashing them aside. I had a bit of help to move from my old shop. In fact, I had a lot of help thanks to family and friends. And a lot of the stuff I didn't actually see get moved. So this would have been stashed in my shipping container. Don't remember where I got it from. Don't remember how long ago. And I don't think I carried it to the van or the trailer or whoever moved it around here and then put it in the shed. So yeah, I haven't seen it for a long, long time. It's a stereo tuner amplifier, solid state 600L. So a Sansui 600L. I'll go and check that online shortly and just see what year it is. Has 4 short waves, a medium wave, which is AM, a long wave, don't think there's anything on long wave in Australia, FM, then auxiliary input, phono input, which is your record player. Auxiliary could be, say, a CD player. Of course, they weren't around when this was made. Tape monitor, mono, loudness, high filter muting, and we have volume. Oh, geez, that's stiff. And I reckon that hasn't been moved for many, many years. It probably will be a bit crackly. A balance, a treble, a bass, and radio compass. What's radio compass? I have no idea. It'll have some nice dial lights. Hopefully it all powers up. It'll look magnificent, I reckon. All right, I'll go and do a little bit of reading before we get back and have a better look. I'll get a photo of the tag for you to see now. And we'll just wipe the dust off before we power it up, but I think that's what we're going to do. Okay, before we take it into the other room, let's just get some of the dust off it. I just did a bit of Googling, and there's none available on eBay. There hasn't been any sold on eBay. The only reference I could find to the 600L on eBay was some manuals, some original service manuals. One guy was asking about $200 for a manual. I did find, I think, some little mods you could do, just a little set of output jacks that you could upgrade. I don't know if that's probably just an aftermarket thing, and they might have just put this model in as a random model. I searched some forums. There was a thread on Reddit. There's a couple of people discussing them on various forums over the years. Some of them dated back well over 10 years. Apparently it's a rare model, and there wasn't very many with shortwave, and it's actually not a high end or a top end unit, but it's middle range to better of the range. It's certainly not a cheapie. Sansui back in the 70s, 60s and 70s were one of the better makers. Now, as far as the date goes, I saw one guy claim it was a 1969 production. Someone else said 74. I couldn't find any conclusive dates. So if you happen to know, put the comments down below, or if you happen to know a website or something that tells me that. I couldn't find any. I did even ask AI, and AI didn't really know. So there we go. Let's say early 70s. It's solid state, so it's got transistors. It hadn't got valves. That would be back in the early 60s, I would imagine, to get a valve unit. So early 70s, but still more of a 60s design, I think, with the timber wood grain case. And it's not just like a contact or a veneer. It's actually real timber. It's probably a plywood, but it's actually real timber. And we can see that from the slots cut through there. And I think from the back, yeah, you can actually see it is a fairly heavy ply, but it is all wood. It's not tin with just a wood grain veneer or a contact. So yeah, it's a nice piece. On the back we have antenna inputs for FM, AM. Apparently it has a built-in shortwave specialized antenna, but you do better with an external antenna. But from all accounts, it's a brilliant receiver, and it pulls in, with the right antenna, it pulls in really good signals from all over the place. The sound quality was mentioned to be pretty good, and a few guys were asking about repairing them. Apparently they do get a bit of a hum from the old capacitors, particularly in the power supply, so that can certainly be fixed. And one guy mentioned something about a zillion capacitors throughout it, so a recap job would probably be a very big job. I'm hoping it powers up. I don't think I want to delve into restoring this. I would like it just to work, and then I'll decide if I'm going to keep it or not. If I do keep it, it's not going to be my everyday driver anyway. It's going to be special occasions, and I might round up some really good speakers, put it in our studio or something. Otherwise, we'll probably sell it, but again, I hope it works. The only reference I found to price was one available in the US, and the guy was asking the equivalent of 800 Australian. It was available, so it hasn't sold. But there you go. They're apparently quite a rare model. Let's make some room in the other workshop, and we'll plug it into the dim bulb tester and see if it lights up. Okay, I've plugged it into my dim bulb tester over there under the wall. I think you can see that amongst all the junk on my bench. If it draws too much current, if there's some sort of short, the light bulb will light up really bright and protect the unit from doing any more damage. We probably will see a little bit of a pulse, and then it should dim off. Not too sure. That's what it does on valve things. I'm not sure about electronics. Now I've got a broomstick here just so I can turn this switch on without getting in your road, because you want to see what goes on here. So if we give that a push, I'm not sure. Actually, let's just make sure it's powered off. There we go. So that's off, and the volume, let's just crank right down to minimum. So, all right, let's turn it on and see what happens. Okay, we have power. Well, at least we have power to the unit. Let's turn the switch on here. Whoa, there we go. We had a flash, and now it's pulled back a bit. The flash is it draws a lot of current initially to charge up the capacitors, and then they get charged up. It doesn't draw as much current. We have dial lights, but they're very dim. Very dim. I'm not sure you can see them through the camera. Hopefully you can. You can see the gauge here. What's that? A VU meter, I guess. So it does power up, but we don't have anything. Well, the good thing is we don't have any smoke. The dim bulb tester is kind of okay. It's drawing a bit of current. Now we don't have speakers on it yet. What I'm going to do next is put my voltmeter on DC voltage and just connect it to the speaker terminals to make sure we don't have any DC voltage at the speaker terminals, because we don't want to blow up the speakers, and that would indicate something seriously wrong. So I'll turn it off for the moment, and we'll connect this up, and then we'll turn it back on. Okay, we have the meter on the right channel now. Let's power it up. Oh, I wouldn't have thought that would be ideal. Around about 17 volts DC. I'm not sure I want to plug my speakers into it now. Let's turn that off again. Yeah, 18 volts on the right channel. Would still, now the voltage is gradually dropping after I've turned it off as the capacitors discharge, but that's pretty high. I wouldn't have thought that would be normal. I'll try the other channel and see what that gives us. Okay, left channel. Left channel's okay. We have no DC voltage there. So we have something wrong with the right channel. I guess we could plug a speaker into the left channel, because at least we know we're not going to blow it up. Okay, I have a speaker hooked into the left channel. Power that up. I can hear a bit of noise, and my volume's right down, remember. Balance left, right. Okay, I'm not hearing anything in the left channel. Oh, we may need to have a switch in. Let's put FM in. There we go. Okay. That's sounding pretty good. That's what FM should sound like. We don't have an FM antenna, but I think we might be able to pick something up. I'll just put a test lead on the FM antenna. Okay, that's improved the signal, I think.
There are no borders that keep you from reaching out to people who speak Telugu language.
There we go. So the radio works well. I'm not game to put a speaker onto the right channel, because that, I'm sure 19 volts is something's wrong with it, and I don't want to damage my speakers.
And it is found on,
there we go. That's a bit, the balance is dirty, bit crackly.
Belief system in the world.
The volume seems okay. I thought that might have been noisy too.
Different walks of life of faith. So this Telugu Bible radio deals with this faith.
Now what does Radio Compass do?
Teaching them about the love, hope and forgiveness.
No idea.
And being an online...
Okay, so it works, but we only have one channel. We have very dull globes lighting up the dial glass here, which is a shame, because that would look magnificent all lit up bright green. I'm sure that could be fixed. I'm sure the whole thing could be fixed. But whether I want to do that's another thing. I don't know where we're going to go from here. Maybe I will put it aside as a project. It's actually saying FM stereo, so it's picked that up well.
India, because their border securities are there. And we
have a fine tuning here as well, which interestingly turns the big knob.
We talk about,
Oh, I think our dial string's slipping too. It's not moving the pointer. In fact, it's not tuning off the channel, so there's something wrong with the tuning. Yeah, we can only tune down the bottom here. We can't get it up to this end. Let's go to medium wave, AM. Yeah, we have a slipping string, I would suggest. Something's tight in there and it's slipping. Don't have any noise on AM. Crackly in the switches. The whole thing needs, we'll turn it off for now. The whole thing needs a really good going over. It does have some issues. It has a major issue with the right channel. It has lots of little things that need doing to it. The dial string, the crackly controls, crackly switches, the fade or the very faint glow behind the dial glass. So yeah, it needs a lot of work. But at least the amplifier actually goes on one channel anyway. Okay, back out in the main workshop now. I have the amplifier on the bench, and before I feed you a really flimsy story as to why I couldn't possibly sell it and I have to keep it, I've got something else to show you. So if you remember the radio we had last week, this HMV valve bakelite radio that we investigated last week, we did a bit of checking. I had some fantastic comments, and thanks very much to Dave Tipton and also to Steve from Steve's Electronic Repair Shop. Two very knowledgeable guys, and it turns out that this is not supposed to be a mains radio at all. It should not have 240 volts or 230 volts AC put into it. It was a radio designed probably for farms, but people in rural areas that had generator power, and it would have ran off 32 volts DC. We'll take it off the amp because I don't want to scratch up the timber casing. But basically, this cord has a mains plug on it, And all I can think is that maybe a farmer being, very ingenious and a bit dodgy with their repairs sometimes, maybe they had a mains powered socket and plug hooked up to their generator to provide 32 volts. And that's perfectly fine if you know what you're doing. And, you've done the plug on the cord, so you know that it's a 32 volt. Of course, when the farm's sold up and the old farmer dies and the radio ends up in someone else's shed, you just assume that it's a mains plug. So I'm glad I didn't do any damage plugging it in. I'm glad I had it through the dim bulb tester. It's possibly been damaged by someone else. It has a direct short in there somewhere. I would say someone possibly has put 240 into it without any protection and it has blown something. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to keep it as a restoration because I don't want a radio that runs off low voltage DC. It's tough enough for me to learn how to do normal radios, let alone ones with vibrating circuits and special components to boost DC to AC and then everything like that. A couple of things were mentioned by Dave and Steve that it should have, if it had have been a mains radio, it would have had a big mains transformer in there and it wouldn't have had the neutral going to the chassis. That's something you do see with low voltage DC. The negative wire goes to the chassis and the positive goes to the components that run off the power. With AC, it doesn't quite work that way, and I should have probably twigged that wasn't quite normal. Anyway, what am I going to do? I'm going to cut the cord off it, save someone else putting 240 volts into it. If you're going to restore it, it'll need to have a new cord anyway, so amputated. I'll keep the plug, although the plug's got a few chips in it, so it's probably not much good. The wire will go in my scrap wire bins. I'm going to sell this radio through the shop as a non-goer, as basically a decorative radio. Someone may choose to restore it, but I will note that it's 32 volt DC only. The generator switch at the back, Dave suggested, was when your generator's running, when your farm generator plant or wherever you are, when it's running, you would have to switch to on to give it the power to run. When the generator is off, say at nights, and you're running off batteries and the batteries are getting a bit flat, you could switch it to generator off. And if you remember the circuit, the power doesn't go through a big resistor then, so it would probably run off a lower voltage. That's the theory anyway. So there we go. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm glad I put it through my dim bulb, but it possibly would have just blown a fuse. I don't know. But it's a nice radio. The cabinet's in good condition. The dial's in good condition. It has all its original knobs. If you didn't see the video, go back and have a look at it. And it was pretty cool to look inside it all the same. But I'm going to take this to the shop and sell it. I'll put a few notes on it so that the future buyer does know. And someone did ask on my channel recently, do I put notes on things that I keep? And yes, I do. And it was a good question. And on the Sansui amp here, I'm going to put a note that what all the faults are, that we had 19 volts DC on the right channel. The dial lens lights were very dim, crackly switches, all that sort of stuff. I'll make a note. I'm going to hang on to this one and I will explain my reasons why shortly. And one day down the track, you might see a video on it. Okay, I'm not going to hold this up here for long because it is heavy, but the number one reason why I'm going to keep it is that it's just damn cool. I like vintage hi-fi. I said that at the start of the video. It will make a great project down the track when I learn a bit more about these things. Look, I could probably wade through it and work it all out, but I've got a few other things to do in case you haven't noticed. But it's a good keeper. It's a good one to stash aside for future, not only for the fact that I like it and it's a good project, but I think, if you can quote me on this, if you're going to be a hoarder, keep rare stuff. Don't keep common things that you can go out and find anytime. Get rid of those, reduce the clutter. But from everything I read, this is a particularly rare model. They're not going to turn up all of a sudden and be flooded over the internet and the price will drop. They're going to appreciate in value. So this will be a good sleeper to keep here. One day I'll probably restore it, but if I don't, then, my kids will have something rare and possibly quite valuable to sell. It's worth the space. So that's my justification. I know I probably don't need to justify my decisions to you guys, but I feel an obligation to. But yeah, I guess the message from today, if you're going to keep something, make sure it's worth keeping. There we go. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. That ends the video. I've dragged this out a little bit with a lot of talking because I didn't want to go and get something else. I wanted to make one video on something each week, and if I start getting lots of different things, I don't know what words to put in the title. There we go. A Sansui vintage early 70s amplifier receiver, 7-band radio. Let me know if you've got one, because I believe they're pretty rare. Catch you in the next video. Bye for now.